Uh-oh. Seismic Cry, Carrion Golem, and Vitality? My biggest hope that when I'm gonna be reading through this manifesto, okay, I'm gonna be like, yo, finally a new meta. Finally, I get to see something other than champions. But simultaneously, it's like in the normal case scenario, this would be obvious that would be the change. But it's GGG that we're talking about, right? And they don't care about like SSF or any of that sort of stuff. So it's kind of no. I'm not looking at chat. I just see chat moving really fast. I'm just assuming you guys are memeing on my ass, right? I'm not even I'm not even looking at that shit right now, okay? I'm not even fucking looking. Get that shit away from me. Your Pepe laughs and El No Sabes, alright? God damn it. Alongside every new league, we aim to make balance changes to a wide variety of character systems to improve build and playstyle diversity. This league, we focus on rebalancing a few specific game mechanics related to new blood-themed skills and Vaal skills while lowering the power of specific mechanics that were dominating the metagame and were too far above the level of power we aim for. Man, statements like these are so ambitious, but then they always forget about like 1, 2, or even sometimes 3 like setups that are just completely ridiculously 10 times stronger than everything else, and realistically none of this really matters. Blaze Storms now has a multiplier to bleeding damage while in blood stance, similar to the multiplier to unlacerate, to enable bleeding builds on the blood themed skills. Oh, the Elder Influence weapon modifier that grants a chance for poison or bleeds inflicted with this weapon to do 100% more damage has been removed? They've been removed? In their place, Elder Influence weapons can now roll a new local poison or bleed damage over time multiplier. The notable damage chance modifiers were too multiplicatively powerful for these builds, providing power that only the modifier is granted, so they've changed to an effect that is additive with other bleed poison damage multipliers. Holy shit. I wonder what they're gonna do about that. This sounds like the death of like literally every bow build in existence, besides like Caustic Arrow, which isn't even a bow build, it's like a spell, god damn it. What? Man, there are like only 2 ways of making bows work right now for like 3 skills, and it's literally poison and bleed, and they're just removing it. I don't know. Kind of, yeah, I mean, let's see. Maybe something, they'll talk about it. Chainbreaker Keystone no longer removes rage on hit, instead adding a small rage cost to all skills. To all skills? Jesus. The big thing about Chainbreaker was that you would cast like 7 war cries and then you just hit once and you're done. But all skills? That would include war cries. I wonder how that's gonna like work out. I mean, don't get me wrong, fuck Chainbreaker. That thing's just busted. But yeah. This has allowed us to keep Chainbreaker functional with spells while still losing rage when used alongside skills that don't like the damage over time modifiers. The damage over time spells. Don't hit like the damage over time spells. God, I'm having so many problems reading. I mean, I don't like that. I don't like that unless they address Fortify effect, basically. Because, like, giving Chainbreaker to spells, I guess, is okay. I mean, Chainbreaker is just not right. But then you'd still sometimes use it on certain builds just because you had no cost as a spellcaster. Just because you had, like, literally no cost. And then, so you didn't need to, like, actually scale your mana. So this would be free as fuck and super strong. But then simultaneously, you'd be getting Fortify effect nodes, you know? So it's just like, just for the Fortify effect, fucking time to get Chainbreaker, I guess. I can't click it. I got it. In Path of Exile Ultimatum, you can control click on June to bring up the menu to unveil items. Wow. Welcome to 2010, GGG. Nice! Very poggers, to be fair. Who cares about board? Excuse you, little bitch. They're doing extensive changes to Betrayal, okay? You're gonna care about the board. Everybody's gonna be killing Katarina. Super rewarding. Totally worth it. Okay? Crappa. Alright. This sounds cool. I mean, it's huge nerfs for the most part, with a couple like build enabling things. But I like the build enabling things, and the things that needed to get nerfed are getting nerfed. But then I do hope that in the case of bows specifically, they address it. But bows also have a tendency to completely take over a meta, even when they're like remotely functional. So I don't know. Bows are like the Scion archetype of a build where if it's just like even slightly strong, it just completely takes over the entire meta. But yeah, kind of sounds like they're fucking useless. So I don't know. Very cute, GGG. Vaal skills. We've made a balance pass on damaging Vaal skills, making them a more interesting choice relative to the Vaal skills that provide ongoing buffs. We want damaging Vaal skills in particular to have more reasons to be used by a larger variety of builds. Man, I remember discussing this with Rory on Bayclast about how, yeah, most of the time the problem with Vaal skills wasn't really related to the strength of the skill, but rather like the sort of links that can be applied to it. And Octavian brought up exactly the example that I always bring up, which is multi-strike Ancestral Call on Vaal Lightning Strike, where it essentially results in a 4-link. But I do suppose that you can balance it around, like, I mean, you're gonna have to rebalance it again when PoE2 happens. But I guess you can balance it with just the strength of the gem. A good example would be like Vaal DD, that essentially now has like 3 links on it, but it still does like a ludicrous amount of damage. Like completely insane just on a 3-link. But you're never realistically going to have an opportunity to 6-link it unless you have like a 6-link pair of gloves or a helmet and you just have a separate entire setup, which just isn't feasible with the gem limitations. So, I don't know. I mean, PoE2 is so fucking far away that who really realistically cares if they have to rebalance the game in like 2 years, right? Raiz moldings, is there an in shambles? I'm molding? Hold on. The uptime for Vaal skills has been improved via various reasons. Soul generation on unique monsters has been increased to 6 souls per 2% life lost, with a 1-second cooldown. This is twice as many souls as before. Wait, this was this bad? No. I thought it was like at least 4. It's per 2% life lost? I thought it was per hit. Like, this looks bad to me. I mean, 6 souls. For some skills, you know, you hit the thing 3 times and you're good, right? To get a Vaal skill. And some Vaal skills, oh baby, they go ham. Alright, I mean, let's keep going. Let's see. No matter what, it's an improvement, so I'm all for it, right? I just don't know. I mean, it's probably enough. Vaal skills are just so cheesy, you know? They're so cheesy. I love it. I always thought that PoE needs like cooldowns and all that sort of stuff, and I'm glad to see that the game's played with more buttons. But I don't know if just like tweaking these numbers is necessarily the right approach to Vaal skills altogether, but it would be like too much work, I guess. Damaging Vaal skills have had their soul gain prevention times lowered relative to the duration of the Vaal skill. For Vaal skills that don't have a duration or ongoing effect, soul gain prevention time is usually just 1 second. Wow. Okay, that is huge. Are we having a Vaal Fireball meta comeback, dude? And yeah, this is saying for Vaal skills that don't have a duration. I mean, does Vaal Fireball have a duration, for instance? But it doesn't have a duration, right? So I wonder how they're gonna be like balancing this, because you can 100% cast this once and just charge through the map and like always have it up, essentially. But I don't know. I mean, they say duration, but maybe they don't need the duration tag. They just mean like duration as a, yeah, Vaal DD. Oh god, Vaal DD doesn't have a duration, right? Yeah. It's just like going. Yeah, they're gonna have to make adjustments to this. Like, I don't think they mean duration as in the tag. They mean just duration as in the mechanical functionality of the skill. Reduce the Vaal skill requirement or increased the number of uses on the Vaal skills that had relatively lower impact per use compared to other Vaal skills. Please, fuck. Number of uses, please. So many Vaal skills would be so poggers if they just had a larger number of uses. Like, yeah, Vaal Stormcall, for instance. Give me like 10 of them. You know? I remember playing stuff like Vaal Lightning Strike and it being like just so aggravating. But then one of my favorite builds of all time, way long ago, was my Vaal Ground Slam Cycloner. And that had 3 charges, like since release. And it always felt so poggerzoo, dude. 10 Vaal Double Strike. I mean, I don't think they're going to change Double Strike. It's one of those skills that actually works, you know? I think this is to address the skills that don't, like fucking Vaal Spectral Throw and, you know, like Lightning Strike. Maybe Vaal Flame Blast. Vaal Flame Blast is great, but Flame Blast isn't, so nobody plays it. Sounds cool. Skill balance changes. Man, this thing is so long. Fucking hell. We made balance passes on a large variety of skills that are performing above acceptable power levels, either through damage, speed, or clearing content or defensive benefits. These include Blade Vortex, Blade Blast, Toxic Rain already. Wow. General's Cry with channeled skills. Uh-oh. Seismic Cry, Carrion Golem, and Vitality? Cringe. Man, they're actually nerfing Blade Blast. And now they're addressing Blade Vortex. And they're going after Toxic Rain. I hope that it's like a... I mean... They're saying that it's nerfs. But like Toxic Rain is one of those things that just scales really well. So I hope they don't just make it so that it's shit for leveling now too, for instance, right? Frostbomb and Wave of Convictions have had their explosion values lowered, as these skills provided too large an ailment resistance reduction compared to the other mechanics that have higher investments or penalties against bosses. Man, I feel like I really don't like changes like this. Because you know what the problem is? It's not the skills. Because it's interesting to have some form of a rotation or like differentiate your playstyle from when you're fucking killing a single white mob or when you're fighting a boss. The issue is that with Trigger, you know, this is just free as fuck. It's omega free. There's no cost to it. That's what makes it free. It's the trigger. It's the optimization of PoE for like everything. Auras, curses, fucking casts. Everything's just doing itself for free with no cost. But then like there's genuine builds that need these things and they're getting hit equally while they possibly didn't even have access to trigger in the first place, right? I'm looking at you, Ignite skills, which it's kind of weird to fit like triggers into it because of EE. I don't know. It's a weird one. Get fucked Ignites, I guess. Yeah. Flesh and Stone now has a 35% mana reservation from 25. Makes sense, to be honest. Defensive power of the skill in Sand Stance and the offensive power in Blood Stance was too high relative to the reservation effects. I don't know if I agree with the Blood Stance one, but yeah, the Sand Stance, sure. We've added a small reduction to Stance skills reservation cost on the Blood and Sand specialization cluster near the duelist to bring the cost down slightly for appropriate builds. Okay. I mean, there are no appropriate builds. It's just, you're saying it's OP, then it's OP. Adding it to the duelist is like, Yeah, but I mean, I do like skill tree balance, so. Vigilant Strike and its threshold jewel, the Vigil, have been changed how they handle fortified duration and the durations granted, so that the Vigil doesn't result in a very long duration fortify, instead granting a shorter fortified duration than a higher level Vigilant Strike. If I don't see Fortify nerfs and Fortify effect nerfs, I swear to God, GGG. You can't simultaneously say, like, treat hardcore as like this fucking kid that you don't talk about and then balance the game around it. When Mathil was watching my Maven kill, and even Quinn was watching my Maven kill, I mean, I guess you could say that Quinn is a hardcore player. I mean, he spends more time in standard than in hardcore, but still, they didn't even know what the Vigil was. Neither of them knew how the gem functions at all. So then, if people who play this game for a fucking living with 20,000 hours don't know how it works, and nobody on softcore uses it ever, and you're targeting like this tiny portion, why don't you fucking target it properly? I don't know. I hope Champion's nerfed into the ground. It's just a inconsistent... Don't get me wrong, like, this is good to do. It just, yeah, it's kind of what the opening statement was. They need to, if they're gonna do this, they need to do other things too. Which, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out. Brilliant Strike base fortified duration now scales with gem level rather than through an increased fortified duration stat. Previously, players could gain 30 seconds of fortify from 2 sockets in a single jewel, which is far too cheap for the defensive power offered. Yeah. I mean, again, it's a good change. Like, yeah, the Vigil and Vigilant Strike, definitely too strong. Like, all of this makes sense. It's just... You're balancing the game with this. So you better address the builds that have the equally large benefits, but for free. Like fucking Champion. The Virgin Berserker, Berserk alternate quality now grants the Berserk buff 0.25% more spell damage per quality from 1%. The effect was providing too much damage to spellcasters when paired with effects that increase the gem quality, such as enhanced support. Oh, you did not. Wait, is this really it? Wait, that's it. There are no fortified changes. There is no fortify effect change, is there? I don't even know what to say, honestly. I mean, I knew I'm gonna like Pepe laugh about the opening statement, but... Wow. I mean, I wonder what they're gonna do with the actual skills, too. Seismic Cry, Kyron Golem, Vitality? Vitality needed addressing? It's almost like quality of life. And why now? When the card came out and everything, and it finally became like the Vigil was so fucking annoying on hardcore for an eternity now. For like an absolute eternity. Because the people who found it would win, and the people who didn't would get fucked. Especially when it came to competitive PoE, which is like all people do on hardcore anyway. Very few people like actually play it for just like, I'm just gonna play hardcore lol. Usually they're looking to compete. So for like, what now? 3 years? It's been an issue? And then the one league that they implement a card, they're like, yeah, this now we're gonna change it? Again, don't get me wrong, like, It makes sense. It is fair. But how can you address this and leave the like absolute most glaring fucking imbalance that's been in the game since the implementation of Fortify effect in? Like, how can you do that? It's patch after patch after patch after patch. Melee's just been fucking completely dominant. It's completely ridiculous. The Vigil is like the only opportunity for casters to be able to ever remotely catch up in terms of defense or like hang in there. And it's not like melee is melee. All melee is basically ranged because you got a full screen AoE. I don't know, so inconsistent. I just didn't think that it's gonna be about this. Maybe they just forgot about it. I have no idea. It sucks because it is the right call. It's the correct change. But you're balancing the game around this, you know? Like you are putting one archetype against the other. Yeah, this kind of this feels like the Game of Thrones thing where it's like, oh yeah, she kind of forgot about the fleet. This is like, yeah, they kind of forgot about Fortify. Like, bitch, come on. She forgot about the fleet. General balance changes. It's all nerfs. God damn. Bow? What? Physical explosion body armors. Influence and synthesize synthesis modifiers that caused enemies killed to explode, dealing physical damage will no longer have a 100% chance to apply. Oh, interesting. Synthesis modifiers too. Were people actually like mace exploding things? I mean, I guess if they had access to it. The replacement modifiers grant enemies you kill have a chance to explode, dealing 1/10 of their life as physical damage. With a new lower tier influence mod being introduced that has a lower chance. This keeps the mechanic and opens up the possibility of stacking explode chance with high investment and will no longer reliably wipe out packs of monsters through a chain reaction of explosions. Okay, so this is another change that's weird to me. You definitely need to address explosions. But in the same way that they didn't understand why people don't want to kill Katarina with betrayal, it's not because what you get isn't rewarding enough. It's because you build your board in a way that's personalized to you and you want that specifically for yourself. Most people don't treat it as a money generating sort of scheme. It's for you, so you can get the things that you want. And when you fuck with that, it doesn't matter if you get 10 exalteds out of it, because now you can't make your build work, or you have to wait longer to be able to do so. And this is kind of the same thing where enemies you kill have a chance to explode, dealing 1/10 of their life as physical damage. Chance to kill is cool, but people like the explodey for the corpse removal, and people like the explodey for the consistency, right? That they added to their build. Sure, you should make it more expensive, but you shouldn't remove the actual contents of what made it interesting. And if you're addressing the chain reaction thing, just make it so that things that die through the chest can't kill other things, and then those things will explode the same way something like Impulsa works, where you can't chain explode it. Because you're addressing the actual issue. The chain explosion is the problem. But this way you're just making it less fun. And if you can invest enough to bring it up to what it used to be, then you haven't changed anything at all. So like, it's good that they're addressing it, but it's like they don't understand why people used it in the first place, you know? If you're looking to still keep it in the game, don't remove the fun from it. Remove the power, right? I mean, I don't think they're going to bring it up to 100%, but opens up possibilities of stacking explosions with high investment. I mean, I don't know. When I think of this, I think of occultist, the occultist explosions, where it used to be that with Occultist, you just had a chance for things to explode, and it was effective enough, and it has a large AoE, and you're stacking it with builds that already have AoE, and especially things like RF in the past, where it would be a consistency thing, and it would feel pretty good, because it would, most of the time, do well enough, right? But then, as the game continues to grow, you don't need 100% when you've got 10% of life, right? It's a 10th. You don't need 100%. You need like 40 and it feels good. 50. If you can get even 60, that's insane. So, I just don't really get if this addresses the issue. I thought the problem with the Explodey chest was corpse removal, which, you know, I don't know how exactly they can address that. I mean, this is the way to address it. Yeah, if they think that's the major issue. But I thought the major issue was the fact that you would kill a single mob and it would fucking kill 3 screens away in your map. I thought that was the problem. But I don't know. Apparently not, you know? But we'll see. I don't know. Again, it's good that they're addressing it. I just don't know if it's the right way to do it. Okay, it's better that they're doing something than if they were to be doing nothing. Modifiers that allow your hexes to affect hexproof enemies, such as Cosprey's Will, unique body armor, no longer allow your hexes to affect yourself while you have hexproof, as you are not your own enemy. As you are not your own enemy. Okay, I mean, makes sense. Sure. Kinda intense, but I mean, honestly, fuck self-cursing, so I was like, man, it kind of, nah, you know what? I'm thinking about it. Fuck it. Factory fossils and beast splitting. Splitting items through beast crafting now applies a split tag to both items. Yeah, we've seen this. And this fractured fossils used on them also gain the split tag. Splits cannot be split again and cannot have imprints made of them or applied to the item. Yep. Atlas mission sustain. We've removed the bonus mission chance from awakening objective bonuses, as Atlas passives combined with this bonus and other mechanics was resulting in an almost endless supply of missions. We've decided to keep the Atlas passives at full strength and remove the awakening objective bonus so the player has the choice to invest in more Atlas missions if they desire. Man, they really complicated this for themselves. You fuck this change, kind of. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? The extra missions from awakening bonus never made sense, because when do you need your missions the most? It's when you're just starting. It's when you need like every inch that you can get. It's when it really matters every single map you run. So then why would you tie it to this thing that you only get once you're essentially done progressing through the Atlas? And who really plays beyond that point either? So the awakening bonus never made sense to me. And every time they changed it, I was always like, I mean, it's a change, but it's still a problem. But now they added the Atlas passives. And I guess that gives them an opportunity to like fix it by just getting rid of it. But then simultaneously, I want more master missions. So now it's a problem. But I still have more than ever. So is it? I don't know. They've kind of put themselves into a corner with this one. But realistically, awakening bonus should have never worked the way it did in the first place. So let's just assume that it's developer space, you know, by removing this. It's a good change, however you look at it, so yeah. It's just, I'm sure it's gonna feel shitty for some people. Not to mention that, you know, awakening bonus is just so permanent, right? Just like the big issue. I don't want, like, it's the same problem that people had with the their maps being like juiced out of their mind on like new characters because they had watchstones and whatnot, and And like, yeah, when shaped maps were a thing and like your shit was shaped and now you couldn't run like low maps at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fuck Delirium. That shit shouldn't even be in the game. It's just weird that they're keeping it, but then they're just like, yeah, it's half now. Buggers. Question marks? Yeah, fuck you, chat. Delirium is garbage. The dog shit mechanic. It's garbage gameplay. It's way too juiced out of its fucking mind. It should have never been in the game. And if there's a single thing that they need to address, if they're looking to balance Path of Exile, is getting rid of that garbage, okay? I know, it's fun. And I know there should be other ways of being able to challenge your character. But it's not through fucking creating this gigantic gap between people who play in a group and people who play solo, and people who have insane amounts of currency and people who have no currency. Shit that scales that to such a degree should have never made it to the game, all right? Just never. If we're talking balance, fuck them. This fucks solos the most. Yeah, I mean, it's weird that they're just doing it across the board. That's why I'm saying that it's weird. But it's something, right? Anyway, Hardened Scars no longer grants Fortify during the effect of Life Flask. Instead now grants Fortify while recovering life from a Life Flask. Notable is granting Fortify too easily to any character that can maintain uptime on a hollowed hybrid flask with the Enduring prefix. Wait, how are people even gonna play bows anymore? I don't understand. How can you play a bow build anymore? They really fucking hit bows hard. Maybe with the passives they're trying to buff them? I don't know. This is like a giga fucking hit. This entire patch notes just shit on bows. Necromancer's Essence Glutton Notables has had the amount of mana regenerated when you consume a corpse lowered from 8% to 4%. It's proving more base mana regeneration than any other source. Yeah, whatever. It's still more mana regeneration than any other source. There's one notable that's more mana regen than fucking entire Ascendancies combined. Whatever, bro. Not really a nerf. I mean, it is a nerf, but like... I remember in the Gauntlet, when I was playing my Necro... Oh no, actually, it was in the normal game. When I realized, after playing my Hierophant, because I had to switch because it was bugged, so I switched to a Necromancer. And while playing the Necromancer, I had all this like mana regeneration gear, and as I was upgrading my gear to get like more one-shot prevention and damage, I just kept removing mana regeneration to the point where at the very end, I had 0 mana regeneration on any of my gear. And my mana regen was still like 2,000. It's like... why the fuck would I ever need this? Like, it's just, yeah. It's funny too, because... what build gets affected by this? There's only a single mana build in the entire game that uses Essence Glutton, and that's Cremation Necromancer. That is it. There's nothing else. Nothing else is better with this guy. It's just like, what are you even trying to do with this? Because it nerfs it, but it's like, it doesn't do anything. It's not a change. It's the anti-Raiz patch. Dude, I haven't touched a bow in 6 fucking years. You guys saw my Maven kill on my Necromancer? She didn't even like inch my HP. I've never seen my HP move while face tanking literally everything. And that's a build that's essentially like 1/3 of the defense of a champion. There's just no content that does anything. So if you're like getting used to hardcore, if you're newer to it, if you just like that sort of playstyle, play a champion and yeah, it will be hard. And when there's a gauntlet, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to play a champion. No doubt. Like, the gap is even bigger than what it's ever been. Like, it's not even close. Now there are genuinely no builds that come even remotely close to like 50% of the power of slam builds for the Gauntlet. There's nothing. Fortify effect is so strong and slams are so strong that even if you ban Duelist, then Marauder or Ranger are still like 40% stronger than literally anything else in the game. The thing is, I wasn't expecting those changes. I get it. You know, you really shouldn't give a shit about such a tiny part of the game. It sucks because it kind of shows PoE in like a bad light when people are actually looking to compete in these events, because it does indicate that just ginormous, obvious gap that is there, and it just fucking hits you right in the face. It just really highlights it, you know, because that's where most people get like their idea about balance. So you really shouldn't be, if you're not gonna address it, you shouldn't address it. But then they did address Vigil. So what the fuck? I don't know. To summarize, I guess, the manifesto. Obviously, this isn't the full extent of the changes. Obviously, a lot of things are getting added. A lot of things are getting removed. We're getting the patch notes soon. We should have a pretty good idea of things. They didn't miss the mark this time. I think they're doing all the right changes, or they're doing changes in all the right spots. But unfortunately, considering the extent of like how much they're adding and how much Ultimatum is doing for the game as a patch, I think the balance changes are insufficient. If they're gonna nerf, they should nerf. They went softball, and some things just still don't make enough sense. But maybe in the context of like Vaal skills, it'll make more sense. It's kind of hard to do like one balance patch to rule them all. You can't realistically do that because it's just too many things interacting with each other, and you can't have like that. Now, in the case of champions specifically, maybe they're looking to address, or Fortify effect specifically, I should say. Maybe they're looking to like not nerf all melee builds, but they didn't have the time to like address slam specifically. And for a lot of melee builds that aren't slams, I mean, Fortify effect is where you get your juice from. But I mean, it's so strong that you even get it on casters wherever you can. You literally use Timeless Jewels and don't pick up a keystone just so you can get Fortify effect. That's not okay. Like, that is not okay. And a part of the reason for that was Vigil, but that's not gonna go away. People are still gonna get it. Why did you link that to me? Where's Fortify nerfs? This was expecting Fortify nerfs?
Parallocated notable from 100, they went too strong in the Elementless rework. Fortify all effects, all sources of Fortify has been reduced by 200% effect. Where's that line? Where's the Fortify nerf line? Where's the why is Fortify not nerfed? Where's Fortify? Where? Why? Where? Hello? Where's